This conference will now be recorded.
बट असं तर व्हायला नाही पाहिजे.
नाही, मी पण त्याचा सर्च केला, पण मग तसं काही नाही. मग हे असं का म्हणतायत किंवा मग हे फक्त क्लायंट ग्रॅप्स करण्यासाठीच असं करतायत का? किंवा क्लायंटला आधी आपल्याकडे घेऊन घ्यायचं नंतर लावायचा महिना दीड महिना. तसं बघायला गेलं तर सर एवढा 1-1.5 महिना लागतोय. एका रजिस्ट्रेशनला मला लिटरली दीड पावणे 2 महिने लागले सर. तेच इश्यू काढायचे, तेच इश्यू करायचे. मग मी तिथे कॉल केला तर 100 वेळा कॉल केल्यानंतर एकदा उचलला. आणि त्याच्यात ते आम्हाला रागवत होते, तुम्ही कशाला फोन करता, काही गरज नाही फोन करायची, तुम्ही डॉक्युमेंट व्यवस्थित अपलोड करा. बोलू सुद्धा दिले नाही की अहो सर तुम्ही ती क्युरी तरी नीट काढा, तो काही जो प्रॉब्लेम असेल तो नीट सांगा.
ऍक्च्युली सगळ्यांना हा इश्यू येतोय, पण कसं आहे की डेस्क 2 ला खूप वेळ लागतोय आणि डेस्क 2 नंतर डेस्क 3 आणि डेस्क 4.
ते अधिकारी मला त्यांचं नाव विचारायचं नाही, म्हणजे विचारलं नाही मुद्दाहून, उगाचच म्हटलं तो इरिटेट होऊन जाईल. पण खरंच ते त्यांचं बोलणं असं म्हणजे ऑलमोस्ट ऑर्गंट होतं सर एकदम. हे सर्वांबरोबर होतंय का पर्टिक्युलर लोकांबरोबर होतंय, तो पण एक इश्यू आहे सर.
आता ऍक्च्युली मी जेवढे केले रजिस्ट्रेशन ते माझे लगेच झालेत, म्हणजे असं इश्यू कधी आला नाही. पण जी क्वेरी आली तर आम्ही प्रॉपर एक्सप्लेनेशन देऊन हे केलंय, तर मग ते लगेच झालं. म्हणजे मी ट्रॅक ठेवला किती केसेसना काय टाइम पिरियड लागतोय. तो एक जनरली माझ्या सगळ्या याच्यात 15-20 डेज मध्ये होऊन जातो.
नाही हो, पण मान्य आहे. पण मग आपण क्युरी अपलोड केल्यानंतर सुद्धा 5-5, 6-6 दिवस डेस्क 2 वरच कोणी बघतच नाही, असं पण झालेलं आहे ना सर. आणि खास करून मागच्या 1.5-2 महिन्यापासून जास्त प्रॉब्लेम येतोय सर. त्याच्या आधी तर काय लिटरली 3-3, 4-4 दिवसात रजिस्ट्रेशन आलेले. आता एकदम सडन काय चेंजेस झाले बघ यांच्या याच्यामध्ये प्रोसेसमध्ये.
ड्यू टू कोविड ऑल्सो दे माइट हॅव फेस्ड इश्यूज. म्हणजे कोविडमुळे बराच प्रॉब्लेम झाला, कारण आता RERA फिजिकल अटेंडन्स फिजिकली अलाउड नाही कोणाला जायला.
तिथे नव्हती. मी माझ्या स्टाफला पाठवलं पण होतं, त्यांनी मध्ये जाऊन सुद्धा दिलं नाही. टेक्निकलला फक्त बघून घेतलं आणि सांगून दिलं की हा तुम्ही व्यवस्थित अपलोड केलेलं आहे, जेव्हा प्रोसेस होईल तेव्हा होईल.
नाही करत. What about others? Everyone, please switch on your videos. This is a discussion on forms. So I would request that please switch on your videos. Hi Rakesh sir, how are you? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute.
Sorry.
Yes sir, how are you?
Fine.
Okay. So have you issued new forms, sir, till now?
Yes.
So what are your views, sir, on the forms?
So the form is what specifying the law. Now to interpret it out and give a comment, because it is a good thing. There is a one option which is available for CA to comment on how the figures have been arrived at.
Yes. But I think so that they have increased the responsibility of both the chartered accountants, both
But
Form 3 and Form 5.
That was, if you go through the form, the liability was always there, but there are certain relaxation or certain figures were there which were not reconciled.
Yeah.
At the back end, you need to do the reconciliation, but on the certificate, this was never asked. So if it is asked in a form certificate, everyone will be more cautious in terms of certifying that. This is my personal view.
We'll start in 5 minutes. Okay. So can we start? Start करूया ललित sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Initiate the discussion. Basically, I have one presentation which I have given in all the seminars till now. So to initiate the discussion, we can use this as base, this presentation as base, and we can discuss side by side. So I want each one of you to participate because this discussion will help us in issuing the certificates, and it will clear a lot of our doubts because there is no clarification till now from RERA, as in we had a clarification in 2017, but most of the clarificatory points in that circulars were either incorporated in regulations or amended in rules. But still, now that circular is somewhere, it is vague, and most of the points are included in the new forms or changed in the new forms. Now the role of form 3 is completely being changed, so we need to discuss, and this issues can be solved through the practical experience or practical difficulties we are facing right now after the issuance of the new forms after 22nd December. So how we should have a common approach. So that is our motive of today's topic, to discuss how we should approach the particular books of accounts, and we should verify all the details. So each input from each one of you is very important. We all know that these amendments are a part of our all the amendments till date. We have this in regulations. Till now, we have been got the amendments right from 2017. The first regulation was 2017, issued in 2017. Then we had the amendment regulation in 2017, and later on there was a second amendment regulation 2019, wherein only form 3 was amended. So form 3 has undergone the amendment till date, but rest other forms were as it is. There was no change except for few things, that license number in case of architect and engineers is not necessary to be mentioned, and such minor changes, but all other forms were same and there was no change right from the beginning. But with the latest amendment, which is called as RERA General Amendment Regulations 2021, there were major changes. All the forms were revised and completely revised. So the stand which we have taken earlier, now it may change depend on the situation and the health of the project currently. So we need to judge what are the changes, and certain details we need to mention right from the beginning of the project also. So we have to make appropriate changes in all the certificates issued henceforth. So first change is in the regulations 3, 3A and 4. Regulation 3, 3 and 4. See, you all can interrupt me anywhere, anytime. There is no issue. This is just a discussion. So wherever you want to provide any inputs, please everyone switch on. I would say that you can switch on your cameras also. Regulation 3, 3A and 4. So these are the regulations wherein important changes are made. And let us see what are the changes. In regulation 3, earlier the certificate issued by project architect in form 4 to be issued on completion of each of the building or wing of the real estate project. So this certificate form 4, which is issued at the completion, was to be issued at the time of completion of each building or wing. तो जो भी building और या wing हमने register किया था, हम लोग को ये certificate issue करना था. But now the position is changed in the amended regulation 3, and now the certificate can be issued on the completion of the entire registered real estate project. So अगर वो हर बिल्डिंग का जो सर्टिफिकेट देना था, नाउ इट इज अमेंडेड, एंड अब हम लोग को रजिस्टर्ड रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट पूरा जो रजिस्टर्ड किया है वो कंप्लीट होने के बाद ही वी नीड टू इश्यू दिस सर्टिफिकेट. सो ये फॉर्म 4, they have completely reduced the efforts required building wise. Now he can issue the entire certificate at the completion, at the time of completion of the registered real estate project. तो वो एक विंग हो सकता है, एक फेज हो सकता है, बिल्डिंग हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. लेकिन अगर उसने मल्टीपल बिल्डिंग्स का प्रोजेक्ट किया है रजिस्टर, so he don't need to issue the certificate building wise. He can issue it at the time of completion of the entire registered real estate project. So any inputs on this? Yes, Lalit sir.
Carry on, sir.
Okay. Next is regulation 3A. Now, in regulation 3A, the earlier position was form 2A shall be submitted at the end of every financial quarter. So this was very important. We all were facing difficulties because the QPR mechanism, that is quarterly progress report system, is not yet been properly implemented yet. But they had mentioned that form 2A right from the beginning, we have to submit it for every quarter. And likewise, they have made the provision of uploading form 2A for the entire year. तो 4 quarter का 4 forms आना चाहिए practically. But now the position is changed because somewhere there was not a lot of compliance from the builders or hesitance from the builders. So accordingly, the position is changed now, and this certificate is to be uploaded. The amended position is that this certificate needs to be uploaded at the end of the every financial year. So that is the major change. So instead of every quarter part compliance, we need to upload it only once at the end of the financial year. What about the previous compliance? Yes, we have to get it done quarter wise only, all the forms earlier. But if it is not uploaded now, it is no point of getting it upload on the website, क्योंकि आज के दिन का अगर हमें quality control दे रहा उसको, quality assurance दे रहा, so that certificate needs to be uploaded in the new format only. So even though one certificate is uploaded, it might be accepted by the RERA, because till now there is no penalty charged, because I have seen lot of projects अभी तक फॉर्म 5 जिन्होंने इशू नहीं किया है, डायरेक्टली फॉर्म 4 वहां पे इशू हुआ है. So I don't know how RERA sees these projects and what will be the stand in future, but currently they have uploaded form 4 directly, and other 4 years compliance is still pending on their part. So whether RERA will accept it or there might be any penalty, till now there is no clearance on the part of RERA. Regulation 4, earlier the position was the annual report on statement of accounts in form 5 to be certified and signed by, the word written was statutory auditor. We all know that statutory auditor is nowhere different. They had mentioned that it is for the company, but for other than company, there were partnership firms where there is no such mechanism called as statutory auditor. So right now they have changed this word, and instead of statutory auditor, they have inserted a new word called as annual auditor. So now RERA auditor, there can be a separate RERA auditor for companies also, because obviously the statutory auditor might not be having the knowledge of RERA. So a company or a partnership firm or a proprietor or an HUF can have a separate auditor who is having the knowledge of RERA, and he can be called as annual auditor. Again, there is no defined term as annual auditor, but still statutory auditor was raising a confusion in the minds of stakeholders. So they have completely removed that word, and instead of that, annual auditor. And rest other provision that he can't be the same person who can issue form 3 remains the same. So only the word is changed. Instead of statutory auditor, now it is annual auditor. New forms issued. Can we discuss on the form 1, 2 and all other forms, or directly we should discuss form 3 and form 5?
I think, sir, we should discuss 3 and 5 directly.
Okay.
All are agree, or anyone want to discuss form 1 and 2?
I think the presentation is very detailed. We can walk through form 1 and 2 also, because changes summary में आदित्य जी बता देंगे तो बहुत हेल्प होगी.
हाँ, क्योंकि क्या है कि सारे फॉर्म्स इंटरलिंक्ड है, एक्सेप्ट 2A, ऑल अदर फॉर्म्स आर इंटरलिंक्ड. सो अगर सबको चाहिए तो हम लोग कर सकते हैं, अदरवाइज वी कैन डिस्कस फॉर्म 3 एंड फॉर्म 5 इन डिटेल, एंड एट द टाइम वी कैन इंटरलिंक.
Can we do summarize, sir? Instead of going detail in form 1 and 2.
Easy for everyone to understand.
Please,
okay,
everyone.
Because what is happening out to see the progress, the certain figures are there, which are you are certifying in your certificate based on the numbers which are coming from this. So
Precisely,
you will be needed that particular understanding at least, because you are not issuing, but you are reviewing that particular forms and the figures from that particular forms.
Okay, so let us discuss quickly. If we feel that we have to emphasize on a particular point, then we will emphasize. Otherwise, we will directly in detail. We can take 3 and 5.
We will only restrict our discussion with respect to how we are arriving at the figures, which figures we are relying upon from these forms.
Yeah. Okay. So the major changes in form 1 is the plot details or area details or new the boundaries which were there in earlier certificates. All the certificates they have removed, form 1 and 2 and 4, everywhere wherever these details were there, they have completely removed. Now we don't have any basis to enter it on the RERA website at the time of registration. So these are the basis, because we got plot area certified, longitude and latitude तो वो सारा हम लोग को वापस तो लेना ही पड़ेगा बिल्डर से या फिर इनसे जो प्रोफेशनल्स है, बट नाउ दे डोंट हैव टू मेंशन इट ऑन देयर in their certificates. Next is certificate
Aditya, I
can
would
be
just add over here. I would just add over here. When you are doing a registration, it provides you the Google map to
correct.
provide the certain location of a particular project or particular plot where it is coming out. Okay, if you identify that, it automatically captures your longitude and latitude, and it automatically captures. It was not earlier initially possible, but now RERA has made it linked through the Google location.
Yes,
So it is
but what
available
was
now.
happening earlier, what they had done, I had visited few projects and I had observed certain certificates. They were mentioning it incorrectly. So we had a basis of certificates that yes, whatever longitude is mentioned there, we could check that actually that project is situated there. It is not our role, but because Form 5 deals with this certificate, and in case of any discrepancy, he has to mention in his certificate. So it is a part of observation that we can verify longitude and latitude.
Aditya,
Yes,
one more thing would be ki we can refer the EC sanction that comes. In that, the authority certifies longitude and latitude. So
correct.
what we have started doing is, instead of referring even the architect longitudes and latitude, there are two approvals: MOD, which is the height approval, and EC, environment clearance. Both of them have longitude and latitude building wise. So
Yes.
based on
But
that, we can
environment
refer
clearance
accordingly.
in case of small projects, it is not required, right? I think so. The criteria is
True, true.
50,000.
Below 2 lakh square feet नहीं लगता, but above 2 lakh square meters लगता है. So I'm just saying कि major projects, MOD is required across all projects now, especially Pune and Mumbai. So those approvals also have longitude and latitude.
Correct. So yeah, this again in case of small projects where the developers are not so well versed with this thing. So we have to take proper from the data from the professionals. So architect is the person who can give this data and we can insert, but now they don't have to mention it in their certificate. So it is completely been removed from the certificate. Next is certificate can be issued for the entire layout. So earlier this word is added recently in the amended version. Earlier it was not for the entire layout, building wise ही था. तो अभी वो layout word add कर दिया, तो वो पूरा layout के हिसाब से वो certificate दे सकता है. Next is list of technical professionals. सबको पता है कि structural engineer and MEP consultant, whatever details were there, it is completely removed from all the certificates. Number of basements, podiums, plinth, and slabs of superstructure deleted. He was the person who was mentioning this number, but still this number is there in the portal. So there we have to mention the numbers still, and now it is only the percentage they have to mention in the certificate. No need to mention the number of basements and podiums and everything. It is deleted. Counter signature of promoter, yes, this is one important thing and most crucial thing that they have added this thing in all the certificates, including Form 3 and Form 5. So there we will talk in detail, but here also when architect issues the certificate, after that he has to take the signature, counter signature of the promoter also, that yes, he has agreed to that certificate, whatever has been issued by the architect. This is the major change which has been made in the amended forms. We have completed Form 1, that was the summary part. Again in Form 2, same point, plot details and everything is deleted. Certificate can be issued for layout. List of technical professionals is deleted. Yes, now the major change, estimated cost of civil, MEP, allied works, internal and external works as per specifications mentioned in agreement of sale. So this is the major and most important change in engineer certificate, which was missing in earlier Form 2 format. So now what they have done is, जो भी developer specifications देगा अपने agreement में, he has to mention that how much vitrified tiles, whatever it is, कितना क्या देने वाला है, उस particular specifications के जो भी cost है, estimated cost, that he needs to mention in the engineer certificate. So as per agreement of sale only compulsory. So ये जो है वो major change है जो पहले इसमें नहीं था. We need to incorporate that estimated cost in our certificate also. Next thing is actual cost incurred. Actual cost incurred to be on the basis of input material or services used and unit cost of these items. Earlier in form 2 वहां पे जो sentence था actual cost was in relation to the estimated, was based on the estimated cost, but now they have made it clearly mentioned it that is to be basis of the input material or services used and unit cost of this item. So there should be proper calculation at the architect end, because now this cost is having a great relevance in our certificate. Earlier this cost was not at all important, but now they have properly bifurcation, there is proper bifurcation that this cost needs to be mentioned in form 3 also. So यहाँ पे अभी उन्होंने estimated cost as per agreement for sale and actual cost as per the input material or services used and the per unit cost of the items. Complete project as per approved drawings and specification mentioned in the agreement of sale. So अब उनको क्या हो गया कि ये जो पूरा फॉर्म 2 रिवॉल्व हो रहा है ये एग्रीमेंट ऑफ सेल पे डिपेंड है कि एग्रीमेंट ऑफ सेल में क्या देने वाला है कस्टमर को. That according to that those cost needs to be mentioned in his certificate. That is very important, and according to that that cost will be incorporated in our certificate also. So all it should be as per the drawing, specification and agreement for sale. Amendment in cost incurred or to be incurred due to deviation in quantity required or escalation of cost. So there was this was earlier also there that any amendment or deviation in quantity or escalation of cost is there that needs to be incorporated in his certificate. Yeah. Now he has to report deviation in material also. Deviation in material used to be reported. Form 8 also deals with this, that material quantity, quality kya hai, any deviation, any issues. But he also has to report that material जो भी use करने वाला था और क्या दे रहा है. So any deviation he needs to report in his certificate. Local authority license number, if applicable, needs to be mentioned. Deleted items to be mentioned. Yes, this was, and this is an addition, because if you will see form 2, list of extra additional items considered in the cost. Earlier this was the position, but now they have added a deleted items word to be mentioned in the table C. So that means अगर डेवलपर ने पहले प्रॉमिस किया कि ये पर्टिकुलर चीज देने वाला हूं मैं कस्टमर को as per the specifications in agreement for sale, but later on if he deletes that item, so it should also be deleted accordingly from the estimated cost of the engineer, and it should not still be part of the cost. So that needs to be incorporated in his certificate. So only additional items not to be included, but deleted items to be considered. So this is a major change which I have observed in the form 2. Again, counter signature of promoter. Here also we need a counter signature of the promoter. Any issues in form 1 and 2?
No sir, no sir.
Okay. So next is form 2A, quality assurance certificate. Here also all the details are deleted. If you will observe form 2A, earlier it was material wise. Details were to be mentioned. Cement quality hai, kaun se grade hai, that details need to be mentioned. Now they have clubbed those points, and only input materials, fixtures and fittings that needs to be mentioned, and he just has to certify that all the materials are as per the specification mentioned in annexure F of the agreement for sale. So annexure F is very much important in the agreement for sale. specification as per annexure F of agreement for sale, and if there is no specification, कोई developers क्या है वो लोग देते नहीं है specification, so then it should be as per the industry standards, and accordingly that cost also needs to be incorporated in the form 2 also. Counter signature of the promoter, here also he needs to sign on the certificate. So our point of interest and the most important form is form 3. If you will observe form 3, first major change is there was no subject clause till date. So till date in the form there was no subject clause, but now they have incorporated subject clause certifying financial progress of work. तो यहाँ पे अब ये जब क्लॉज आ गया है तो उसमें जो मेजर पॉइंट है that we are certifying what the financial progress of work. So we are certifying the financial progress for a particular project registration number, and this certificate is being issued for the RERA compliance. Now what does RERA compliance means? It can be the QPR also. So यहाँ पे ये जो compliance है, we are submitting this for withdrawal purpose, for withdrawal and the RERA compliance, entire RERA compliance, that is the QPR mechanism. So we are issuing this certificate based on the records and documents produced before me. So this date there is no records prescribed. So whatever we require, whatever records we consider as important for issuing the certificate, we need to verify. Issued for RERA compliance. 7 tables are introduced. Earlier different position, itne tables nahi the, itna kaam nahi tha. Basically we need to only certify the estimated and actual cost and the receivables part. But now there are 7 different tables introduced in this particular certificate. Certifying deposit and utilization for land and construction of project. Now what does this mean is they have introduced an additional responsibility on the chartered accountant, which you will find a line that is, I hereby certify that required proportion of money as specified in the act. Okay, so as specified in the act doesn't specify 100%, act only specifies 70%, but for ongoing projects 100% is mentioned in the rules. So this is applicable for that also. As specified in the act, collected from the allottees of the project unit. Now what is happening in all the certificates, they have used different words. Somewhere they have used project units, somewhere they have used apartments, somewhere they have used the project, registered project. So this might create confusion because everything means one and the same. So they should have used apartment, which is very well defined in the act. So they should have used the proper word itself, in common word in all the certificates. And here it is, we are certifying the required proportion of the money, suppose 70 or 100%, collected from the allottees as indicated in the table C, which we will take in table C, has been deposited in designated RERA bank account. So here the designated RERA bank account, which is mentioned on the website. So this is the additional line or the responsibility certification point. Hence we are certifying that we are certifying that the required proportion, which is mentioned as per the act or the rules, is deposited in a separate bank account, and the said money is utilized as specified in the act, collected from the allottees for this project only for the land and construction of this project. So they have not used the total cost of the project, they have specified the land and construction cost के लिए ही हमने ये amount utilize किया है. So additional responsibility, this was not at all mentioned in earlier certificate. And even in case of clarification, if you have observed, end use the form 3 chartered accountant is not at all responsible for end use utilization, but now it is void because anyhow it was a circular, but अब regulation में आ गया, so we need to certify this also. So this position is in line with the form 5 auditor. Counter signature of promoter, here also we have to take counter signature of the promoter. Now this might create certain difficulty because based on the exception, now in case of there are approx 3,500 projects lapsed and many of them have not taken form 3 nor form 5. So this is straight away non-compliance of the act or the rules. So in that case, this amount is not required amount. They might have not deposited, it is not withdrawn as per the certificate. So all this thing will go into our observations and the problems which we will certify that these are the issues in this project. So in that case, there might be issues with the promoter agreeing and signing. So it would be better that the draft will be discussed with the promoter, and if we have to check the health of the project, and accordingly this responsibility is casted on the chartered accountant that you have to take the signature of him, his seal, and you have to upload the promoter has to upload it on the website. So somewhere this should have been like suppose tax audit. So what we do, we upload the form, then the opposite party accepts it, but if it rejects it, there is a reason. They have to disclose that reason also. So somewhere the accountability also stays, but here it will be the responsibility is casted on the directly the chartered accountant. So somewhere that might be, we might face issues. Table A, the first table in the form 3. First table in the form 3 is estimated cost. You all are aware about estimated cost of the project at the time of registration of the project. We have to mention this cost. This is exactly the same. Earlier only one single table was there and 2 columns, but now they have completely separated this estimated cost. तो यहाँ पे पूरे टेबल में सिर्फ अपने को सारे कॉस्ट का एस्टिमेटेड पार्ट देना. Separate table for estimated cost. It will be at the time of the registration of the project, subject to change. Only estimated cost of construction. Yes, this is a major important change in this particular certificate. Only the estimated cost of the construction as by the engineer to be mentioned here. No need to mention any other estimated cost of construction. जो form 2 से आएगा वो यहाँ पे है. तो actual cost वो comparison यहाँ पे करना नहीं है. Only जो estimated cost engineer देगा वो यहाँ पे mention करना है. Provision for cost incurred for additional items as per table A and B of engineer certificate. So यहाँ पे उन्होंने additional दे दिया है कि जो provision for cost incurred for additional items है वो हम उसके table A और B से वो हम लोग estimated में incorporate कर सकते हैं. They have mentioned a note that pass-through charges or indirect taxes excluded. So I believe that this is very well clear that since it is collected and paid to the government, so that need not be form part of our cost. But most of the developer, if opted for new scheme, according to me, the indirect taxes becomes his the input tax credit becomes his cost because we debit it into the P&L account and we don't take the credit. So that needs to be part of the construction cost also. This can be revised, the estimated cost can be revised through correction application only by paying 5,000 rupees. Table B, the actual cost of the project, separate table for actual cost. Yeah, now here the important point and the important change is one second, not able to see the screen. Yeah. Important change is minimum of actual cost of construction by engineer or CA to be mentioned. Earlier certificate का position देखोगे, so there we had to mention the estimated cost and the actual cost comparison. So estimated cost हमेशा ज़्यादा ही होगा और actual cost of chartered accountant will be as per the books of account. But now they have clearly mentioned that actual cost of the engineer as certified in form 2 should be compared with the actual cost of books of account. So अब position थोड़ा better हो गया कि समझो books of account में 100, we are certifying the cost of 100 actual cost as per books of account, but actual cost utilization is only 80. So that is in line with the proper format, and here only the cost of 80 will be accounted in the form. So that is, the position is properly aligned, and hence if you will see actual cost unit or the services received, engineer का भी definition change कर दिया actual cost का format में. So अब उसको भी properly calculation and proper cost account करना जरूरी है. That needs to be compared, and based on that we have to include whichever is lower. And provision for cost incurred for additional items जैसे estimated में किया है, यहाँ पे भी वही include किया है. Are you facing any issue with the voice? Can we continue?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Next is pass-through charges, indirect charges excluded. This was the major change. Table C. After table A and table B, they have incorporated a table C, something which is earlier also it was applicable, and but the issue was that this table was only applicable for ongoing projects. So this table was only applicable, and still the rules are not yet amended. So अब तक rules भी amend किए नहीं है. तो ये table as in now also it is applicable only for ongoing projects in the rules, but now they have made this applicable to all the projects in the regulations. So in this form it is applicable for all the projects. Statement for calculation of receivables, you all are familiar with this. You have to mention the sold and unsold inventory details. And in the case of unit consideration, the pass-through charges or the indirect taxes needs to be excluded. So we don't have to consider it. Comparison between balance cost and receivables. This is something which was earlier applicable for ongoing projects only, but now they have made this applicable to new projects also, and this needs to be, they have made a certain change in the serial number 5. यहाँ पे estimated balance cost to complete है, balance amount of receivables, sold apartments, and estimated unsold sales. Or we compare that whether we want to deposit 70% or 100%. So in serial number 5, they have clearly mentioned that that point is only applicable to ongoing projects, and this comparison is only applicable to ongoing projects. So no need to compare it for the new projects. But this point is again applicable to all projects. In rules, it is applicable only for ongoing projects. This is something new. This table earlier was not there. Nothing, no details about designated bank account. कुछ भी नहीं था अपने certificate में. But अब उन्होंने designated bank account details mention किए. Here also they have not mentioned the name of the bank account, but now it is clear that you have to mention the name, account number, mention everything, because developer might change the bank account, and it can be changed very well as it is. No need to pay 5,000 rupees. So you need to take precaution while entering the bank details here. Whichever bank details you will verify, mention those details. Particulars: opening balance, deposits, withdrawals, closing date, closing balance, and designated bank account details, actual amount till date, from start of bank account to till date. So right from the beginning of the bank account, you have to match it to the closing balance as on the date of the certificate. So deposits and withdrawals will keep on changing, and your closing balance, which will be as per the whenever the certificate is required. But you suppose other amounts is included in this deposits, or other payments which are not allowed are made from withdrawals. You cannot change this because this should exactly tally with the bank account. But you can very well mention in the exceptions that out of those deposits, whatever is related to the customers, you can mention that. If it is any loan amount is disbursed, you can mention that separately, or you can give a reconciliation of the deposits and the withdrawal. That will be better and it will give more clarification. Yeah. Another table which is new for us, it is not at all earlier, it was not at all there, but now they want means of finance also to be certified, but somewhere they want estimated to be certified by us, which is next to impossible, where at the time of the project itself they are asking for proposed and indicative, that whether the developer is interested in future, he might think that yes, I might take. So what is his intensity or what intention for how he will finance that project? So at the start of the project we should take a particular estimation from him. If you have observed, there is a strict mark for the estimated, but there is no clarification or no note mentioned. We can consider that that's proposed and indicative written, we can consider it for the estimated part. So here we need to, at the time of registration itself, he need to predict that how much amount he will collect from the allottees, or how he will finance, and what are his own funds, that needs to be mentioned. Again, we are not responsible, I don't think so, this estimated cost, unless we vouch for the actual figures or we have provide assurance regarding that, we are not responsible, or we can give we should depend, or we should take a representation from the developer itself, and we can mention this amount. Then again, at the time of issuing certificate, so we have to again check the estimates. So this is double check, first estimates at the time of registration, and then at the time of every certificate you need to check whether the estimates are changed regarding the funding part. And actually, yes, very well, we can get this from the books of account. So we need to mention this own funds kitne lage hai, total borrowed funds, how much is actually drawn on. What is the sanction limit is not important, how much is actually drawn on till date, that needs to be mentioned. But the fourth point, customer receipts used for project. So this is a crucial point, because here we need to properly do the working. Till now we were only responsible to get the amount, received amount, and here we need to mention the actual receipt used for the project amount. So our working is increased, and we have to keep proper records again for this customer receipts used. So here the utilization part is that how much is the amount used for the project, that needs to be mentioned, and that will be the total funds for the project, and that will be compared with the estimated cost. So this might, if why, according to the authority, I am just guessing that this will serve the purpose that suppose any complaint, or if this document is challenged, then they might get a proper idea that yes, whether this project is viable at this particular stage or not. So continuously this certificate, the figures will get revised, and they might get a proper details that yes, now whether that same developer can continue the project, or section 7 needs to be applied, and we should go for change of promoter and everything. So this can give a proper idea to them, but they have again increased our work. That's it. Yes, we earlier many were saying that we don't have how to mention the exceptions, or where we need to mention the details. So now they have given you a separate table itself. Whatever observations or comments are there, you need to mention in this certificates itself. So in this certificate itself, you need to mention any exceptions in land cost and construction cost, any discrepancy in bank account operations, sold on unsold inventory, pass-through charges included in unit consideration, deposit and utilization of customer receipts, उसमें कुछ है. तो जो भी exceptions है, now like I said that lapse projects, तो इसमें आएगा ही exceptions, because if he has not obtained the form 3 and we are issuing the form 3 of the current date, so there is a exception that earlier form 3 are not obtained. So all the withdrawals are not under a particular form 3. There is no form 3 for those withdrawals, and there is excess withdrawals in till date. So now he is obtaining form 3, henceforth there won't be excess withdrawals. But till now, all the amounts are excessively withdrawn because there is no certificates on record. So before moving to Form 5, we can discuss Form 3. Yes, everyone?
Hello.
हाँ.
Sir, in table C, under unsold inventory table, in
Yes.
presentation you mentioned estimated sale proceeds of unsold units.
Yeah.
So we have to mention that estimated sale proceeds or ready reckoner rate valuation.
In table C, right? So
Yeah,
estimated, the statement for calculation of receivables from sales of the real estate project and unsold inventory. So you RR value, that is to be mentioned on the date of the certificate, whatever is the RR value.
ओके बट क्या होता है मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम यहाँ पे क्या होता है वैल्यूएशन जो होता है बहुत कम आता है आरआर वैल्यू
Yes.
और समटाइम्स ऐसा दिखता है पिक्चर की प्रोजेक्ट नेगेटिव में जाएगा.
Correct, but that is nowhere any issue, because why they want these details? They just want these details कि इस project में कितने units है, and that should match with the disclosure of sold and unsold inventory. So unless it is ongoing project, this thing is no relevance. The RR value has no relevance at all.
Okay, for new project it is not relevant.
Not relevant, because why it was required only to decide 70% and 100%.
Okay.
So now there is no relevance if it is new project.
Okay. Okay. And the second point in table F, means of finance.
Yeah.
अभी जैसे आज हम लोग सर्टिफिकेट दे रहे हैं तो एस्टिमेटेड एट द टाइम ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन अभी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम क्या होता है कि जो बिल्डर्स साल में एक या दो प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं उनको तो फिगर्स भी मालूम नहीं रहते. तो इसमें एट द टाइम ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन हमें डालना जरूरी है कि कुछ नोट डाल सकते हैं इसको.
नोट डाल सकते हैं. See, this estimation, if the developer is not giving you the details, how you will mention? So if these own funds जो हम लोग के पास अगर कुछ उसके देखो उसने खर्चा तो किया होगा, so that somewhere from capital he has bought that amount, so that amount is very well available with us. So what we can do is everything we can mention, estimate करोगे कि ये cost है और उससे हम लोग एक रिटर्न में लेंगे कि ये कितना तुम्हारा ओन फंड्स होगा, तो वो लिख के हम लोग रख सकते हैं. या फिर कुछ डिटेल्स नहीं दिया, straight away we need to mention that no details were provided regarding this.
Okay. Okay.
Because we ourselves cannot estimate. If the developer himself cannot estimate, then we can't estimate. But yes, if own funds are there, then we can mention the amount. Borrowed funds और वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है, उसको लगेगा नहीं लगेगा, so that depends. So this involves estimation, a costing part आ गया कि ये कितना होगा, ये viable है कि नहीं project. So then you have to discuss with the architect. He can give you, architect and engineer can give you कि इसके लिए funds कितने लगेंगे. So that you can very well कि हाँ इसके लिए ये funds लगेंगे. How you are going to manage entire from the customer receipt, that we can verify. हम लोग ये calculation एक rough कर सकते हैं. We can mention, however we are not responsible for that. You can take very well the written representation.
Means we can put a note under the observation that self certification के हिसाब से डाला है.
See, whatever stand I am saying right from the beginning, whatever stand you will take while issuing the certificate, you have to mention the inference on which basis you have issued the certificate. So that is very important. Okay. So on a later date, if any point can be challenged, because Form 5 now it is public, and Form 3 on a later date हम लोग अगर किसी ने complaint में मांगा तो means of finance कि ये project viable है कि नहीं, so then it will be an issue कि ये कितना हो रहा है, क्योंकि हम लोग actual cost, हम लोग actual funds तो हम लोग देख ही रहे, वो तो certify कर ही रहे, तो उससे भी पता चल जाए.
बराबर. और in the same table estimated as on the date of the certificate. अभी ये possibility है आज मैंने एक certificate sign करके दिया लेकिन 6 महीने बाद इसी प्रोजेक्ट का एस्टिमेट कम ज्यादा हो रहा है. तो एट दैट टाइम एज ऑन द डेट ऑफ सर्टिफिकेट में हमें रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ, तो जो भी एस्टिमेट है वो हम लोग को रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा.
ओके. ओके.
अगर कॉस्ट रिलेटेड एस्टिमेट है, then it needs to be incorporated on the website also by paying 5,000. एंड कंस्ट्रक्शन रिलेटेड है तो वो फॉर्म 2 से भी आना चाहिए. So that everything, all the estimated, whenever there is change, you have to incorporate in your certificate.
ओके.
Simultaneously.
इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि अगर कोई एस्टिमेट कॉस्ट में चेंज हो रहा है तो टेबल ए में जो एट द टाइम ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट है तो जो अपडेटेड फिगर है वो मुझे लेना पड़ेगा सब्सिक्वेंट सर्टिफिकेट, राइट?
100%.
ओके, वहां पे मुझे नोट डाल देना पड़ेगा एज पर रेरा वेब पोर्टल.
हाँ, मतलब जो भी अपडेटेड है प्रॉपरली है वो मेंशन करना. अगर चेंज है तो बेसिस ऑफ चेंज लेके वो एस्टिमेटेड इनकॉर्पोरेट करके उसको फिर पोर्टल पे चेंज करना है. एक बार उसने एप्लीकेशन कर दिया मतलब ही एग्रीज टू दैट चेंज, सो वी आर नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल.
करेक्ट. यस, थैंक यू सो मच.
What to do in a situation where builder is using his regular current account as the designated? So in RERA Act, if you will observe, there is no such provision called as you have to open a separate bank account. Only a separate bank account is mentioned, but he has to mention a separate or open a separate, like 3 bank account operations, 3 bank account काम करना है, वो ऐसे कुछ भी mention नहीं किया. So what happens here is, if he is using his current account and you can very well bifurcate, I mean to say that current account is only used for that particular project, then there is no violation of the rules or law. So you can very well make a differentiation. You can divide the amount 70-30. You can take it certified from him, and you can issue the certificate. But that amounts need to be issued for that particular project only. वो अकाउंट उसके लिए, वो भले ही सेपरेट अकाउंट नहीं यूज करे, बट वो जो अकाउंट करंट अकाउंट है उसमें मल्टीपल प्रोजेक्ट्स का पैसा आएगा जाएगा ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Then there is a violation. You need to mention that he has not maintained a separate bank account, and through this bank account the money is flowing to different projects. And many auditors have mentioned this note. And recently also one of the complaint, and I had observed one case that in that they made immediately after form 5 was made public, they got this certificate downloaded and they made that as a document in the complaint, that auditor had mentioned that only a single bank account was maintained, and through that amount was utilized for multiple projects. So very well you can disclose if the amounts are included used for multiple projects.
My next question is, अगर 22 दिसंबर के बाद कोई रिपोर्ट ओल्ड फॉर्मेट में अपलोडेड हुआ रहेगा तो उसको क्या क्वेरी रेज होने वाला है या कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन?
I don't think so, because whatever your date of signing is important. If it is before,
date of signing was before 20 December.
Yes, so very well uploaded. Still now there is no mechanism with RERA that they can track the dates.
Okay. The only thing is VPN 10 दिन बाद जनरेट हुआ है और अपलोड 10 दिन बाद जनरेट हुआ है. Upload
date of signing is important. Date of signing, and that is important. And UDIN you have the time limit of 60 days. So if it is within that date, then very well it is valid and it is before. See, ये अचानक आ गया है तो उसके पहले का जो working और certification we cannot change. So correct. Because many banks are not allowing to withdraw also if they don't get. And now the law is clear. They have made it the position and reverse the earlier position that you have to submit it to the bank. So now the banks will slowly devise a mechanism that each bank will ask certificate once the limit is expired. So they have to take form 3.
Yes. So अभी recently तो yes बैंक ने अकाउंट भी ब्लॉक करना शुरू कर दिया था.
Correct. So यहाँ पे बहुत सारा स्ट्रिक्ट हो रहा है धीरे धीरे. तो यहाँ पे अगर डेट ऑफ साइनिंग पहले का है, so you can upload that form only. Only if issuance बाद में है, then new format to be taken.
Thank you.
In table C amount received, we should include TDS amount also. Also table C amount should be matched with the table E deposits in designated. Logically the deposit should be of the customers only. So I think so 100% whatever the amount which is received, it's deposit, but received till date is the till date certificate, is a cumulative figure. So deposits and receipts should match, provided there are no other deposits other than the receipts of the customers. कोई दूसरा नहीं है, और ये maintain करना difficult है unless they are maintaining 100, 70 and 30 account, master 70 and 30 account, तो उसमें easily मिल जाएगा, उसमें allow ही नहीं होता है. तो तो उसमें प्रॉपरली मिल जाएगा, लेकिन अगर नहीं हो रहा तो इट इज समवेयर डिफिकल्ट ऑल्सो टू मैच. सो वॉट एवर एक्सेप्शन यू कैन गिव अ रिकंसिलिएशन दैट डिपॉजिट्स में इतने अदर अमाउंट्स भी इंक्लूड है, एंड दैट नीड्स टू बी मेंशन. And yes, TDS amount is a agreement, part of agreement value only. It will be received. It is just considered as received only against the agreement value. That just वो pay करता है, तो it is a agreement value. So because it is paid advance tax on behalf of us, so it is considered as agreement value only for us. So it will be included in amount received 100%.
सर इंक्लूसिव ऑफ जीएसटी एग्रीमेंट के केस में टेबल सी में अपन यूनिट कंसिडरेशन तो टोटल डाल देंगे.
हाँ.
50 लाख का एग्रीमेंट हुआ इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी, तो क्या
Yes.
हमने कॉस्ट इनकर्ड में भी उसको करस्पॉन्डिंग कॉस्ट पकड़ लेना चाहिए जीएसटी का?
नहीं, इंक्लूसिव ऑफ जीएसटी है तो भी अपना जो स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू है उसमें तो हम लोग बाइफिकेशन देंगे ना. एग्रीमेंट वैल्यू इंडेक्स 2 में जो भी स्टैम्प ड्यूटी जिसपे पे करेंगे उसमें तो हम लोग अमाउंट मेंशन करेंगे कि कितना यूनिट के लिए है. तो हम लोग को ऑटोमेटिकली रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन करके जीएसटी का अमाउंट और सारा चीज जो भी टैक्सेशन पार्ट इंक्लूडिंग है वो तो मिल ही जाएगा.
ओके, तो इन्वेंट्री से यहाँ नेट ऑफ डालना चाहिए टेबल सी में सोल्ड इन्वेंट्री में.
Yes, because GST pass-through charges and other indirect taxes should not be part of the consideration amount received. And mostly, I don't think so. See, our sold and unsold inventory is only the importance for new project right now is to disclose on the website. So it will be matched with that, and received and balance is for whatever is received for utilization. So that is very important. So if we cannot inflate, because if it is pass-through charges, so that amount is not utilized for the project, it is pass-through, it is paid to the government. So here we cannot include that amount there. Whatever is actually available to developer to spend for a cost of the project, land and construction cost, that can be included.
Okay.
Any other inputs from everyone? किसी ने अभी तक इशू किया है फॉर्म्स? अभी ये प्रेजेंटेशन ही हो गया. We are here to discuss. I don't know.
टेबल डी में एक्सक्यूज मी, टेबल डी में बैलेंस अनसोल्ड एरिया टू बी सर्टिफाइड बाय मैनेजमेंट एंड टू बी वेरीफाइड बाय सीए फ्रॉम द रिकॉर्ड्स एंड बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स.
Yes.
तो ये अनसोल्ड एरिया हाउ कैन आई वेरीफाई फ्रॉम द बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स?
No, table D, balance unsold area to be certified by management and to be verified by CA from the records and books. So architect देगा ना ये unsold inventory जो है, टोटल इन्वेंट्री होता है वो देता है, एंड अप्रूव्ड प्लान्स में भी फ्लोर वाइज लिखा रहेगा कितना एरिया है कितना है वो भी दिखेगा. सो दैट कैन बी इजी वेरीफाइड.
या लेकिन वो क्या होता है कई बार कारपेट एरिया नहीं आता है अप्रूव्ड प्लान में.
हाँ, तो वो आर्किटेक्ट से मिल जाएगा ना. आर्किटेक्ट से ही लेना,
आर्किटेक्ट का अपने लिए बेस है.
हाँ, कितने फ्लैट्स है, क्या एरिया है, वो आर्किटेक्ट पूरा दे देगा. उनके फ्लोर प्लान्स है, फ्लोर प्लान्स अपलोड कर सकते हैं, तो वो सारा हम लोग प्रॉपरली आर्किटेक्ट से ले सकते हैं सर्टिफाई करके, या फिर डेवलपर खुद दे देगा सर्टिफाई करके. So they have a brochure, they have brochures also. So whatever is it, he had to incorporate the correct thing, because now easily people can verify whether this unit is sold, unsold, or whatever it is.
Correct. एंड सर टेबल ई में जैसे रेरा अकाउंट किसी ने चेंज किया, मान लो यूबीआई से अभी एसबीआई में शिफ्ट किया है, तो हमें टेबुलर फॉर्म में दोनों अकाउंट का डिटेल दे देना सही रहेगा?
Yes. In that particular certificate, you have to mention both, and after that only one bank account will. But you have to mention that this was the past account, so earlier position was this, that will be freezed. So closing balance हर certificate में वो close करके डालना ही पड़ेगा till the end of the project. This was closed, but total उसका deposits और withdrawal match होना चाहिए ना. इसके लिए earlier एक बैंक में
total project का, right?
तो वो total match होने के लिए we need to consider all the accounts.
Yes.
Lalit sir, are you there? I don't know anyone listening or not.
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm in car now. That's why I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
myself.
No, no
It's
one is
good.
active. I think so. No one is listening, or I don't know. I'm not getting any feedback.
Please, I will request
Sir, we
everyone
are
to
listening.
yes, no, or whatever it may be.
Okay, please give inputs, everyone. This is a
हाँ
स्टडी ग्रुप मीटिंग आया. मैंने पर्पसली बोला था कि मैं प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं हम लोग का, बट
यदि
टू
सर
गेट अ बेस फॉर डिस्कशन.
ये सर जब भी अटक जाए ना तो पूछेंगे, जरूर पूछेंगे.
पर ये प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं है मैडम. दिस वाज अ डिस्कशन. किसी ने तो फॉर्म इशू किया होगा, किसी को डिफिकल्टी फेस हुआ होगा, तो बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी नीड टू डिस्कस. Okay. I will continue with Form 5. Subject clause. We have a subject clause in Form 5 also. So here also we have a subject clause. Certifying deposit. Yeah. Subject clause तो पहले से था, but the one additional word they have inserted here is deposit also. So now we are certifying deposit, utilization, and withdrawal. So these three elements we need to take care of, because in Form 3 also same thing, deposits, utilization, and withdrawal. So somewhere there is a double check. Two different chartered accountants are involved. So यहाँ पे and Form 5 is having all the rights to mention any discrepancy in Form 3, 1, 2, 2A, any kind of forms. So all those forms, any discrepancy he can mention in his certificate. So here, now apart from deposit, utilization, withdrawal, he can mention the discrepancies in deposits or withdrawal certified by Form 3 chartered accountants also. Four tables and two subtables are introduced. In this case, shortfall deposit amount. Yeah. So here, so first table is, we will take the table also, but first table is relating to deposits. Rest everything is same. They have forgot to remove this thing also, prescribed registers. They have still not prescribed any kind of registers or anything. They have just mentioned that you have to verify the bank account. You have to verify, that is the base for Form 5. So you have to completely verify the bank account, registered designated RERA bank account. Here deposits, deposits, after that table there is a line written that has the required proportion of money collected from allottees of the project units as specified in the act deposited in RERA bank account. Yes or no? If no, please mention the amount not deposited. So any amount which is not deposited as per the required proportion, that is 70% or 100%. Mostly now the new projects, except for lab projects कोई ongoing है, पूरा अटक गया है तो ही, नहीं तो न्यू प्रोजेक्ट्स के केस में 70%. अगर शॉर्टफॉल है, we need to mention, we should need to quantify the amount. But again there is a duplication, because ऊपर अगर डिपॉजिट्स है टेबल में अगर देखोगे तो वहां पे शॉर्टफॉल में निगेटिव आ जाए. तो एक्सेस डिपॉजिट या शॉर्टफॉल वहां पे दिख जाता है, तो भी उन्होंने नीचे एक सेंटेंस इंक्लूड किया कि एग्जैक्टली डिपॉजिट्स कितना शॉर्टफॉल है. सो दैट नीड्स टू बी मेंशन. डेट वाइज डिटेल्स ऑफ एक्सेस विड्रॉवल्स. नाउ ये जो है काम बढ़ गया, क्योंकि यहाँ पे उन्होंने एक प्रॉपर टेबल दे दिया है कि ऑल द अमाउंट्स विड्रॉन ड्यूरिंग द ईयर फ्रॉम रेरा बैंक अकाउंट वेयर within the withdrawal limit as certified under relevant form 1, 2 and 3 issued during the reporting period. Now form 1, 2 and never provides any limit. Only form 3 provides a limit. So as per form 1 and 2, you cannot say that it is as per the form 1 and 2, because one is physical verification and other is as per the books of account. So form 3 only should, which is the limit, उसमें limit मिलता है. So issued during the reporting period, that is the एंटायर फाइनेंशियल ईयर में जो रिपोर्ट्स किए हैं जितने भी फॉर्म्स उस पीरियड में. तो अगर नहीं है, विड्रॉवल लिमिट से ज्यादा है, तो यहाँ पे प्लीज प्रोवाइड द डिटेल्स, एंड दे आर आस्किंग डेट ऑफ विड्रॉवल an amount of excess withdrawal. तो ये काम बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया बिकॉज लैब्स प्रोजेक्ट के केस में तो फॉर्म 3 है ही नहीं. तो डेट वाइज विड्रॉवल मतलब पूरा एक पीरियड देना पड़ेगा कि इतने डेट से शुरू हो रहा है, ये डेट तक एंड हो रहा है, इतना अमाउंट एक्सेस विड्रॉ. क्योंकि सबने 100% एट द टाइम ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म 3 लिया, उसके बाद भूल गए. अब उनको फॉर्म 3 कब लगना चालू हो जाएगा? जब एक्सटेंशन चाहिए, आइदर सेक्शन 6 या सेक्शन 7, जो भी है उनको लगेगा फॉर्म 3. तो फॉर्म 3 है ही नहीं, तो इसके लिए उनको अभी ये सारा एक्सेप्शन यहाँ पे डेट वाइज विड्रॉवल्स हम लोग को मेंशन करना है कि दिस इज नॉट अंडर एनी पर्टिकुलर फॉर्म 3 एंड वी आर मेंशनिंग दिस अमाउंट. सो डेट वाइज विड्रॉवल्स वी नीड टू मेंशन. डेट वाइज नॉन यूटिलाइजेशन, जो भी विड्रॉ किया है, आई सर्टिफाई दैट he has utilized the amount withdrawn from designated बैंक अकाउंट. सी ये लोग ने क्या किया, पहले जो विड्रॉल्स में लिखा है वर्ड रेरा बैंक अकाउंट, नेक्स्ट इन यूटिलाइजेशन दे हैव रिटन विड्रॉन फ्रॉम डेजिग्नेटेड बैंक अकाउंट. सो सेम टर्म दे आर यूजिंग डिफरेंट टर्मिनोलॉजीज. आई डोंट नो व्हाई दे शुड यूज रेरा डेजिग्नेट, व्हाटएवर इट इज mentioned in the rules, they should be in conformity in all the forms towards project cost only. Now here they have mentioned project cost. So somewhere they have, in earlier thing we have seen the land and construct, they have mentioned separately. So here project cost means what? Project cost means the total cost of the project which is defined in the act, as specified in the act. If no, please provide the details below. So here also amount not utilized. Now suppose there is a non-compliance in the earlier, that is withdrawal. उसने withdrawal किया है, right? तो यहाँ पे it is not necessarily that he has not utilized that amount for the project. So even though there is no form 3, earlier table में उसका amount आएगा कि ये डेट से लेके अब तक उसने फॉर्म 3 नहीं लिया एक्सेस विड्रॉल्स, बट वो एक्सेस जो विड्रॉल्स किया है वो प्रोजेक्ट के लिए यूज किया, तो वो यहाँ पे नहीं आए because he has used that. We can verify that he has used it for the project, but if he has not used that amount, then you will have to mention that amount also in the column in the table C. So these are the three tables A, B, C. One is deposit, withdrawals and utilization. So they have added the word deposit also, that we are certifying these three elements. Counter signature of promoter on audit report also they are asking the counter signature of the promoter agreed and accepted by, and you have to mention, you have to take the sign. So here also again we will face certain difficulties. Table A deposits, this is the table given by them. Here you have to mention for the fiscal year, that is the financial year which you are auditing from 1st April to 31st March. For the project till date, every time it will be cumulative. Total amount collected from allottees, you have to mention that amount. Percentage as per the act, as per the act is 70%, as per rules 100%. So whichever applicable you can mention. Amount to be deposited, suppose I have taken example that 50 into 70%, that is 35. So that needs to be deposited. Total amount deposited, actually deposited agar 30 hai, percentage of amount deposited in designated bank account. So 30 divided by 50. So that is 60%. So there is a shortfall of 10%. Hence, shortfall is 5. And that needs to be mentioned in the sentence below of that table also, that yes, there is shortfall and this is the amount. So यहाँ पे हमारा deposits का certification हो गया. Table B is in relation to the withdrawals. Here, opening balance of the account, opening balance of designated bank account. For this fiscal year, what is the opening balance of this bank account? Total deposits. Total deposits. So your total deposits into that particular bank account, total amount withdraw and the closing balance. So now opening balance of designated account for this fiscal year. So what is the opening balance? And in the form 3, it is opening balance of the reserve right from the start of the bank account. So these two words are different. Here you have to mention it every year, what is the opening balance of the designated bank account for this particular fiscal year, and total deposits, total amount withdraw, closing balance. तो यहाँ पे अभी दोनों जगह पे ये टेबल आ रहा है कि ये विड्रॉवल हुआ है, इसको विड्रॉवल ट्रैक करने के लिए उन्होंने ये टेबल पूरा का पूरा इंसर्ट कर दिया, जिसमें डिपॉजिट्स भी आ गया, टोटल अमाउंट भी, विड्रॉवल भी आ गया। और इसमें अगर विड्रॉवल में से एक्सेस विड्रॉवल्स है तो वहां पे हम लोग को नीचे ये टेबल के जो सब टेबल दिया है उसमें हम लोग को मेंशन करना।
तो इसमें अगर डिपॉजिट्स और विड्रॉल में अदर देन प्रोजेक्ट रिलेटेड ट्रांजैक्शंस हुए हैं, तो हमने इसमें नीचे नोट डालना चाहिए कि सो एंड सो फिगर्स आर नॉट रिलेटेड टू प्रोजेक्ट, डिपॉजिट्स और विड्रॉल।
यस यस, बिकॉज
लेकिन
राइट
टेबल में डालते हुए हमें टोटल लेने पड़ेगा।
हाँ,
टेबल में डालते वक्त टोटल लेना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो बैंक बैलेंस मैच नहीं होगा ना।
यहाँ पे क्लोजिंग बैलेंस एज पर रेरा बैंक,
ओके,
एज पर द बैंक स्टेटमेंट। लेकिन ये जो विड्रॉन है इसमें हम लोग को नहीं करना है, मतलब यू वर सेइंग दैट इट इज नॉट यूटिलाइज्ड, राइट?
नहीं, मेरा पॉइंट ये था टोटल डिपॉजिट्स 1 करोड़ है, उसमें से 40 लाख अदर देन प्रोजेक्ट रिलेटेड ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ है।
टोटल डिपॉजिट्स में ही अदर देन प्रोजेक्ट रिलेटेड डिपॉजिट्स आए हैं। Yes.
जी।
So here you have to match it and you have to give a reconciliation that so much deposits is not from the customers.
ओके, तो टोटल डिपॉजिट में 1 करोड़ आएगा टेबल में, और नीचे नोट में मेरा आ जाएगा कि 1 करोड़ इंक्लूड्स 40 lakhs नॉट रिलेटेड टू प्रोजेक्ट।
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
तो सर ये प्रिस्क्राइब रजिस्टर के लिए, सॉरी
हाँ,
सर ये प्रिस्क्राइब रजिस्टर जो क्लॉज सीरियल नंबर 3 में क्लॉज है, इसके लिए क्या हम कुछ नोट डाल सकते हैं?
प्रिस्क्राइब रजिस्टर के लिए नहीं
जी,
क्योंकि रेरा ने बताया कि in regulation also they have mentioned that you have to issue the certificate for the bank account only, RERA designated bank. So they have forgot, this is just a not properly drafting error, that's it. Prescribed register and records. So your designated bank account is only to be considered for that particular project. So उसमें से हम लोग को चेक करना है और then we can decide कि ये कहाँ पे गया है, अगर दूसरे प्रोजेक्ट में गया है तो कितना अमाउंट गया है। So उस हिसाब से हम लोग चेक कर सकते हैं। तो ओवरऑल उन्होंने वो रजिस्टर्स एंड जो भी है प्रिस्क्राइब वर्ड डाल दिया, लेकिन वो अब तक डिलीट नहीं किया। So we have to consider RERA बैंक।
ठीक है, तो हमें इसको लेके कोई सेपरेट नोट डालने की जरूरत नहीं, राइट?
नहीं।
ओके सर, एक क्वेश्चन था, जैसे बैंक अकाउंट में से 20 lakhs विड्रॉ हुआ है रेरा अकाउंट में से, तो हाउ कैन आई चेक कि 20 lakhs यही प्रोजेक्ट पे स्टील परचेज हुआ है या सीमेंट परचेज हुआ है? 1-to-1 कोरिलेशन कैसे देख सकता हूँ मैं?
नहीं, मुझे समझा नहीं।
मतलब मुझे ये समझ रहा है कि पैसा आया कस्टमर से 20 लाख रुपए और प्रोजेक्ट पे खर्चा हुआ है 20 लाख से ज्यादा, 50 लाख। तो मैं कैसे देख सकता हूँ कि 20 lakhs ये वाले जो कस्टमर से आए वो यही प्रोजेक्ट पे यूज हुआ है? 1-to-1 कोरिलेशन हाउ कैन आई चेक?
नहीं, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, बिकॉज क्या है, बहुत सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस होते हैं। सो 1-to-1 कोरिलेशन यू कैन नॉट गेट। यू कैन सी द 70%, सी यू हैव टू टेक द कॉस्ट इनकर्ड, वो प्रोजेक्ट में से सब जो बैंक अकाउंट है उसमें से तुमने सॉर्ट किया कि इतना कॉस्ट मैंने स्पेंड किया फॉर द प्रोजेक्ट फॉर द पर्टिकुलर पीरियड, देन यू कैन सॉर्ट द कस्टमर्स रिसिप्ट, उसमें से 70% receipts लेना है, and if that cost is covered in that 70% receipts, then it is very well used for the project. And if that cost is less than the 70% project, then it is not utilized for the project. मतलब जो बाकी का अमाउंट स्पेंड किया है वो अगर उस अमाउंट से जो 70% अमाउंट से इंकर किया है वो ऑटोमेटिकली समझ जाएगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हम लोग को सिर्फ 70% देखना है, बाकी कुछ भी नहीं देखना है। क्योंकि जो बैंक्स उसको ये देते हैं 70% अकाउंट और 30% का फैसिलिटीज देते हैं, उसमें से क्या होता है कि डायरेक्टली वो 70%, 100 to 70 and 30 हो जाता है, राइट? तो 30 में he can then later on withdraw from 70 and transfer to 30 account and spend through there.
Yes.
So 1-to-1 relation is not at all possible if there are number of transactions. Only thing is we have to scrutiny the account. We have to see कि finalize करना है कि इसमें से कितने कॉस्ट हुआ है, टोटल कॉस्ट मिल जाएगा कि इतना इतना स्पेंड हुआ है। तो वो प्रोजेक्ट के लिए हुआ है तो हम लोग 70% देखेंगे कि 70% से यूज, अगर वो कॉस्ट हो रहा है तो अपना मतलब प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट स्पेंड हो गया, वो अमाउंट उसका इक्वल या ज्यादा है, that means he has spent it for the project.
ओके, टू सम अप मतलब आपका जो कलेक्शन है उसका 70% मारने का, 20 लाख का 70% 14 लाख, आपका खर्चा अगर 14 लाख से ज्यादा है तो ये मान लो कि आपने यूज किया हुआ है.
Yes, whatever, because you will certify it on the basis of the bills, you will certify it on the
जी.
basis of vendors. तो वो अगर दिख रहा है अपने को सामने बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट से कि इतना कॉस्ट मैंने फाइनलाइज किया, ये इतना स्पेंड किया प्रोजेक्ट, तो ऑब्वियसली अगर वो 70% यूटिलाइज किया, दैट मीन्स उससे ज्यादा है, मतलब हो गया, he has utilized it, because 30% anyhow we are not accountable or we are not going to verify that.
Yes.
So it is the best thing that we can verify from this only.
करेक्ट. और ये बेस हम लोग डाल सकते हैं ऑब्जर्वेशन में कि ये बेस पे हम ये यूटिलाइजेशन सर्टिफाई
Yes,
करेंगे.
yes, whatever. See, they have given you a separate table itself. तो इसमें जितने ऑब्जर्वेशन है, क्वालिफिकेशंस है, you need to mention. Otherwise, that certificate won't give a true picture, because you might have taken certain stand, but how you will convey on a later date if you have issued certificate for 10 projects, then अगर उसमें से कोई प्रोजेक्ट का अगर पूछा गया, because generally when there is change of promoter या फिर buyers association जाता है, तो सारे जो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स है या फिर प्रोफेशनल्स है उनको भी नोटिस जाता है that so and so person is not traceable, so please get back to us what is the details and everything. So we need to clarify. अगर उसमें बोला, they just form the panel of this chartered accountants and architects and everything. So there if we need to mention that ये कैसे मैंने issue किया था और क्या position है, तो we should clarify. और उसमें अगर return में होगा, then it is always beneficial for us and it will save lot of issues in future. So to avoid any future issues, we have to mention the observations.
Okay. And then my last question, below the table of withdrawal, उन्होंने यहाँ पे डाला है all the amounts withdrawn during their from RERA bank account are within the withdrawal limit as certified under relevant form 1 to 3. तो इसमें withdrawal limit तो हम लोग को 3 में देते हैं.
हाँ.
तो 1 2 को लेके कुछ अपने को डिस्क्लोजर देना चाहिए.
नहीं, वो विड्रॉ उनका वो जो वर्डिंग है, उन्होंने क्या किया, अभी 1 2 3 में वर विद इन द विड्रॉल लिमिट, तो उसमें जो 2 में से एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट और एक्चुअल कॉस्ट आएगा वो सर्टिफिकेट में आता है, और 1 जो है उसमें कोई लिमिट वगैरह तो है नहीं, लेकिन उसके एज पर द एक्ट उसमें आफ्टर द सर्टिफिकेट्स रिसीव्ड, सी व्हाट दे हैव मेंशन इन द प्रोवाइजो ऑफ सेक्शन 4 that you have to withdraw, the promoter is allowed to withdraw the amount only after the issuance of this 3 certificates from architect engineer. So they have added this 3 forms in this line, that it is as per the withdrawal limit under this. That's it. It is in compliance with the act.
Okay.
But whatever limit is there, it is as per 3 only.
Yes. Thank you.
So any exception relating to deposit utilization and withdrawals, any discrepancy in form 1 2 and 3 that needs to be mentioned, other exceptions related to project that should be mentioned here. Last certificate is form 4. For details latitude, here also it is deleted. Certificate can be issued for the entire project. Yes, earlier it was compulsory to be issued for the only फेज वाइज और विंग वाइज या बिल्डिंग वाइज जो भी है वैसे सर्टिफिकेट अब उसने एंटायर प्रोजेक्ट को दे सकता है. वो लिस्ट ऑफ टेक्निकल प्रोफेशनल्स डिलीटेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ inspection and certificate from structural engineer. Now the important word is, earlier it was only on the basis of certificate received from structural engineer. So ये जो वर्ड डाल दिया कि सिर्फ उसकी सर्टिफिकेट पे डिपेंड नहीं, बट यू ऑल्सो शुड वेरीफाई इट इज बेस्ड ऑन योर इंस्पेक्शन एंड हिज सर्टिफिकेट. सो बोथ थिंग्स आर इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट, hence this word is been inserted, because there was one case when in a even though it was not fit for occupancy, still architect had issued form 4. So form 4, even though that project was having OC, but still the adjudicating officer held that it was the liability of the professional to mention any issues in the certificate. He should not issue form 4 till it is fit for occupancy in all aspects, and it was he was liable for action. Later on they went into appeal also, but it was rejected because it was not on the basis of the substantial question of the law. So later on it was not taken. I don't know what happened later, but any issue in inspection needs to be mentioned, It is not only on the dependent on the certificate of the structural engineer. And here also, see, architect agreement of sale. Here also they have added this word that it is complete in all respect as per agreement for sale. So यहाँ पे क्या हो गया ना, ओसी होता है वो बिल्डिंग का पूरा ये म्युनिसिपल अथॉरिटीज देता है, और ये एग्रीमेंट फॉर सेल इसके सर्टिफिकेट में डाल दिया, वहां पे इंजीनियर सर्टिफिकेट में डाल दिया. तो अब क्या हो गया, ये दोनों बाइंड हो गए कि एग्रीमेंट फॉर सेल में जो बोला उस हिसाब से हमने कॉस्ट और कंप्लीशन दे दिया. So that is very important to properly certify what is to be mentioned as per, it should be always as per the agreement for sale. And here also counter signature of promoter. So ये signature तो पूरा सारे certificates में लगेगा. अब तक वो सिग्नेचर होगा नहीं, उससे तुम लोग को सर्टिफिकेट्स नहीं मिलेंगे, फॉर्म 1 2 नहीं आएगा, तब तक फॉर्म 3 नहीं इशू होगा, वो फिर अपलोड होगा, इसका बहुत टाइम जा सकता है. एंड बेस्ड ऑन द डेवलपर हु इज हरी, अगर विड्रॉल पूरा ही खत्म हो गया, then you will get the signatures easily because he is in need of money, he needs to withdraw the amount. But where he is having the habit of getting the certificates earlier before exhausting the limit, then you can very well there will be issues. So the draft certificates need to be discussed, and then you can obtain agreed and accepted by the promoter. But don't forget this, because this is very important. Henceforth the certificate won't be valid if the signature seal is not there, even though it is uploaded on the website. So that is not important. You should have the copy of agreed and accepted by the promoter copy. So that is very important. You need this, and it will save you from the disputes also, because the whatever you have certified is agreed and accepted by the promoter. That is very important. So I have completed my presentation. Although it was not a presentation, but still we had to take, if now it is open for discussion. If we want to discuss more, any inputs from you, please switch on the cameras. I am the only person visible here, so I will request everyone, at least please switch on the camera. Yes, Rakesh sir, what do you think?
No, it was a good interactive session in terms of the queries, because generally what is happening out the practically, unless or until you go for certifying something, you will not be facing those challenges.
Correct.
So either who is taken initiative, there's definitely those people are facing those difficulties, and they can understand what is the pain going on in terms of certifying certificates. It seems to be simple certificate with no much details and everything, but when you are actually putting out the figures, you come to look at what are the practical difficulties arising in terms of putting out the figures and making a reconciliation. As you say, the one of one point there, the inflow and outflow of 70% account. So RERA has allowed certain sort of parking a fund to the other project, other avenues like an FDs or something. So that reconciliation needs to be done every time, because what inflow and outflow apart from the sales inflow is coming to the project. So all these practical difficulties need to be seen, whoever may be certifying the project or issuing a certificate for the project per se.
Correct. Anything else? Any
Sir, one
from
more
others?
doubt.
Yes.
Yeah. मान लीजिए there is a 3 buildings in a project A, B, C, and A, B is completed 2 years back. अभी मान लीजिए C building promoter is planning to construct after 1 year. तो अभी क्या फॉर्म फॉर ए बी का वो अपलोड करना चाहिए पार्ट कंप्लीशन के बेस पे?
पार्ट कंप्लीशन नहीं,
हालांकि ए बी पूरा कंप्लीट हो गया, लेकिन सी बिल्डिंग भी रजिस्टर्ड है, तो उनको पार्ट कंप्लीशन करके मिला है.
ए बी कंप्लीट हो गया ना, तो ए बी का इशू कर दे सकते हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है. If he should have a proper OC. He needs to mention the OC number and everything. So if he is having the building, see in the certificate they have mentioned that it can be layout, building or wing number. So it depends on the architect how he wants to issue form 4. If he will issue, if they are having issue OC for that particular building, you can very well issue the form 4 for those buildings. So all the aspect will be completed in relation to the building A and B. Only building C can be pending. And on the portal also we have a separate field to mention building wise completion date. What is the building wise completion? We have an entire project completion date, and we have each building completion date also that can be mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
So anything else we want to discuss? Yes, sir. What should be done? Yes, Uma madam, Devang Sampath ji.
Aditya, any sort of your view on in terms of the cost which is given at the time of registration and the cost which is at the time of certifying, because there are lots of changes in terms of either approvals or the scope of work or something, and you have gone for a change of a cost, project cost, incrementing by 20-30 crore based on a project size. So that initially there was no process for getting it approved because it is allowed. Portal was allowing to amend it. So there are certain things which has been done the amendment without even informing the RERA or taking an approval, which is a prescribed now. Okay. So what is the viewpoint in terms of an if that both the cost at the time of registration and at the time of certifying the thing?
Okay.
There is
So
a change.
Actually, at the time of registration, estimated cost, whichever is what is mentioned, and subsequently if he wants to change, then he has to apply for change. It is not estimated, he cannot change like that.
Now estimated, which has already been changed and allowed and accepted by the RERA for past 2 years.
Okay, without intimating to CA.
Without intimating to CA, CA is also looking at, because there are certain changes which has been done by the client, and new CA has joined it out. Like a new CA, when he is coming there, he has seen the old certificate. There is a change, but on the portal which is already been updated by the client, which shows some different cost per se.
Okay, so whatever estimated cost existed on the date, he needs to properly amend that on the website, and that can be incorporated in subsequent certificates. So
because
estimate
on the website there was no restriction. On the website there was no restriction. Okay.
For estimated
Website
cost, always there is a restriction. He has to compulsory apply for 5,000 rupees, and he can change. Then only he can change. But yes, we need to mention that it is a typographical error or due to an order of the authority or some basis. So he need to mention. He had to give a reason for changing that cost.
But for that also they demand CA certificate.
Sorry.
But for that also they demand a CA certificate, updated CA certificate.
Till now they haven't asked in any of my project where I had changed the estimated cost. But now what is happening, they have the right point of this. See, the compliance part, they can get the compliance done only when the promoter is facing difficulty for extension. He needs an extension, because unless he is having an extension, he cannot register. Even he can't get the funding also. So that is more important. What they do, they take that benefit and get the compliance done from the promoter. And all the compliance for past 4 years, he has to do it, because only Form 5 needs to be uploaded on the portal. QPR is not that active. So what happens? He was keeping the Form 3 part, but now Form 5 auditor will ask for Form 3, and without that he won't issue. And if it is not there, he will very well mention in his certificate that Form 3 is not on records. So very well, now the certificates need to be obtained properly. Then only he can go through with the extension. It may be Section 6 or Section 7. And what about those projects where exception is not required? They've completed it in time, but compliance is not. So somewhere it gives a wrong picture that if you are having OC, don't do the compliance. So that needs to be taken care of, because for 4 year 3-2 year, अगर 5 साल का project date मैंने extend लिख दिया project completion, और मैंने अगर उसमें सर्टिफिकेट्स नहीं लिया, डायरेक्टली ओसी अपलोड कर दिया, दैट मीन्स आई एम इम्यून टू एवरीथिंग. So somewhere that should be taken care of, that no, all the compliance needs to be done, तो भी डेवलपर को कस्टमर्स को प्रॉपर करेक्ट पिक्चर मिले. तो ही
इवन
ऑब्टेनिंग
कंप्लीशन
ओसी इज
डेट
नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट.
इवन कंप्लीशन डेट के बाद ओसी आया हुआ है तो भी एक्सटेंशन लेना जरूरी है अप टू डेट ऑफ ओसी.
एक्चुअली उन्होंने बोला है, उन्होंने जो लेटेस्ट सर्कुलर लिखा था कि कैसे वैलिडेशन होगा, तो उस केस में उन्होंने बताया कि कंप्लीशन डेट के बाद ओसी आया तो एप्लीकेशन फॉर ओसी अपलोड करना. So that will save you from lot of time. But yes, if you are not having OC, and then you have to apply for extension saying that so much time will be taken for the OC. तो यहाँ पे हमने को लेना तो पड़ेगा, because उस केस में क्या होगा कि he is not certain when he will get the OC. Completion हो गया लेकिन OC एक साल बाद आ गया. So that is important for the society also. So hence you need to comply with that part.
लेकिन हाँ जी, लेकिन कई जगह क्या होता है जैसे कंप्लीशन और ऑक्यूपेंसी कंबाइन आता है, तो उस केस में क्या है, जैसे दिसंबर 18 कंप्लीशन डेट कमिट था रेरा को पोर्टल पे, लेकिन उसको ऑक्यूपेंसी कम कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट दिसंबर 19 में आ गया. तो क्या हमने उसको इंसिस्ट करना चाहिए दिसंबर 18 टू 19 आप एक्सटेंशन अप्लाई करिए?
दिसंबर 19 को आ गया है ना, और कोई कंप्लेंट्स भी नहीं है ना, तो फिर अभी एक्सटेंशन, अभी रेरा को वहां पे फॉर्म 4 दिख जाएगा, फॉर्म 4 दिखेगा, ओसी दिखेगा, तो कोई वो लैब्स प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिस्ट में जाएगा ही नहीं.
ओके, वहां से ऑटोमेटिक रिमूव हो जाएगा,
वो निकल जाएगा. अगर है तो फॉर्म 5 और इसके बेसिस पे उसको सारे पेनल्टीज आ सकते हैं अगर रेरा ने लेटर डेट पे डिसीजन दिया, क्योंकि वो भी क्राइटेरिया है लैब्स प्रोजेक्ट्स में जाने के लिए, ऑल द कंप्लायंस अगर नहीं है.
क्योंकि वैलिडेशन का सर्कुलर पड़ा था ना, उसमें लिखा हुआ है क्राइटेरिया. हाँ, कंप्लीशन के बाद ओसी आया तो भी आपको एक्सटेंशन लेना है,
एक्सटेंशन लेना है. तो अभी लेकिन इतना जो क्यूपीआर या फिर वैलिडेशन है, क्योंकि जिन्होंने अपलोड भी किया है फॉर्म 4 उनका वहां से निकला नहीं अब तक, लैब्स प्रोजेक्ट से
नहीं निकला.
इवन दो दे हैव मेंशन वी हैव सीन द लेटर.
क्या बोले? नाही येत का?
विशाल, यू आर नॉट ऑन म्यूट.
म्हणजे नाही येत.
विशाल, so what is to be done? Can we conclude, everyone?
Yes.
And use of the fund withdrawn. Yes, it is correct. No issues. The node, whatever, there is no format or everything. If you want to be safe, you're conveying certain issues, your certain observations on that particular project. I just believe that every time you need to check the health of the project, because अपने को पता चल जाता है कि क्या उसके पोर्टल पे ऑर्डर्स आ रहे हैं, क्या कंप्लेंट्स आ रहे हैं, क्या स्टेज पे है, उसके एग्रीमेंट में जो परसेंटेज लिखा है उस हिसाब से प्रोजेक्ट जा रहा है नहीं, उसके डिमांड्स प्रॉपर आ रहे हैं, अमाउंट यूटिलाइज हो रहा है प्रॉपरली, रिकॉर्ड मतलब रिकवर हो रहा है. सो व्हाट इज द हेल्थ ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट, दैट नीड्स टू बी ऑब्टेन एंड यू शुड मॉडिफाई योर सर्टिफिकेट्स अकॉर्डिंगली. सो एंड तक तुम्हारा ट्रू पिक्चर आ जाएगा. So that is more important to safeguard us, because अब तक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स या कोई ऐसे स्ट्रेंजर्ड एक्शंस नहीं हुआ है, बट जिस दिन अगर प्रोजेक्ट स्टक हो गया, so somewhere these certificates might be taken out and seen that yes, it was viable from the beginning what they have issued, कि अगर सब कॉस्ट पूरा हो रहा है, स्पेंड हो रहा है प्रोजेक्ट के लिए, तो फिर प्रोजेक्ट स्टक क्यों हुआ. So somewhere this might, if any forensic audit is taken, so somewhere this might be an issue. So we need to precaution, we need to clear the stack. So all the certificates, you have to mention the observation and what is the inference on the basis of which you have issued the certificate. That's it. So if it is not available, it is not available from his record. We cannot creep and we can ask for nahi de hi mujhe, nahi diya. Whatever it is available on record, we are verifying that. And if it is अगर सर्टिफिकेट दे ही नहीं सकते, कुछ भी रिकॉर्ड प्रॉपर नहीं है, तो we should refrain from accepting this assignment. That's it.
Okay.
Can we take a leave, everyone? We should end the session. Yes, sir. Rakesh, sir. You're mute, sir.
Yes, you were telling something?
Yes, can we end the session then? I think so. No.
I think so. Okay, there are no more queries from the participant, and we can conclude that.
Yes. Okay. So I hope so. Everyone, we were having a good discussion, but only few actively participated. I don't know about others, but hope so. We might get few issues, and we will discuss in future also.
Sure.
So we can end the session for today.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Mr. Joshi.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone.